Well, you old knuckleheads, welcome to the Gabbing of the Games. It's good to see everybody. I'm chewing gum. Hang on. What's going on, y'all? It's nice to see everybody. Welcome. That was, of course, if you're listening to the show after the fact, I've already edited it out so it doesn't fuck up my channel. But that was, of course, I'm in an Axel F mood. Fuck you. I'm getting into bed last night. I get a little thing on my phone going, hey, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F is now available on Netflix. I'm like, wait, that's already happening? I didn't stay up late to watch it, but I've been watching bits and pieces throughout the day. Still only about 30 minutes in. Is it the best movie ever? No. But it sure is nice to have a return for a character that you grew up loving, that is not shitty, like the goddamn Indiana Jones, right? So far so good. It's got some really good reviews out there. Is it, like I said, it's never going to be a classic like the first one, but it's a lot of fun so far. And I'm looking forward to finishing it over the holiday weekend. So it better be more quality than Beverly Hills Cop 3. Oh, you goddamn right. I mean, it is already. That movie, there was a whole chapter dedicated to just why that movie was such a piece of shit in a book on comedians of the 80s called Wild and Crazy Guys. And it was just him and John Landis. I think the director actually got into a fist fight. There was a period, you come up like that, like Edward Murphy, and he kind of lost his eye of the tiger, and he didn't really want to be there. It's clear he's kind of got his shit a little bit more focused these days. So it's cool. I dig it. I recommend it, at least from what I've seen so far. Maybe I'll do a proper review if people are into such malarkey. But I'm digging it anyway. Point is, that's why I was playing some Bob Seger Shakedown, because that was from the second movie, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Where he went after the Alphabet Bandit. I remember them all. Man. It's good stuff, man. I had a lemon twist. That's right. Okay. So anyway, look, fellas and fillettes, welcome to the show. I want to tell you something that's going on this week. Well, let me give you a couple things real quick. I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like because it's the 4th of July, in the sense that I definitely will be providing content. I don't know if I'll be providing it to members only tomorrow and putting up a new War Stories. I don't know if I'll be doing a proper stream. I might be gaming. So, we'll have to see. But just giving you a heads up, I don't know how tomorrow's going to look just yet because of the holiday. There's not going to be a lot of news, blah, blah, blah. But here is something that's going on, and it's really impressive, and it would be even more impressive if it wasn't created by such a big group of pieces of shit. I get it. America's hands aren't clean if you're watching from Canada or China or Russia or all these. Every country is just a shithole when it comes to corruption and blood and violence. I get it. But this particular country, Saudi Arabia, literally will put you in front of a firing squad if you happen to be a lady that likes to scissor with other ladies, or you happen to be a fella that likes to take the penis. And there's a number of other crimes they'll kill you for over there that just I find horrifically offensive and just bad form. But just because they're awful people doesn't mean they got awful ideas. This weekend, it's kicked off today, $60 million in prize money for the World Cup Esport, whatever they call it, the Championship World Cup Esports, whatever. $60 million, 21 games are part of this thing. Let me show it to you on your screen. I don't think you got to be in a team or whatnot. I don't think you can just jump in. They got Warzone going on. You can get $1 million for that prize pool. There's something called League of Legends, of course, $1 million. I don't know what Riyadh Masters is. That's $5 million prize pool. Counter-Strike. A game called Free Fire is in there. I don't know what PMWC is. This is women's something and men's something. I don't know what these are. Is this like a soccer game or a football game? Who the fuck knows? Honor of Kings. If you're good at that, you might be able to pull down $3 million. Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch 2 in the millions. Fortnite, $1 million. StarCraft 2, $1 million. Street Fighter 6, $1 million. Modern Warfare 3, $1.8 million. PUBG, $2 million. Rocket League, $500,000. There's a lot. Tekken 8, $1 million. Not too shabby, man. It's a pretty good idea. I don't really know much about esports. Like, I watch it from time to time, but I've never really gotten all that engaged with it. But I know, Saudi Arabia is trying to sort of endear themselves to pop culture, and this is one of the ways I guess one of the many princes of the king. This is his shtick. He's into all this stuff. So, $60 million, man. A lot of people, a lot of companies you know and love are sponsoring it. I don't know. I'm not morally vibing with this, but I do think it's a neat idea to pretty much have the Olympics of video games. I think that's kind of cool. So if it scratches a particular fancy, you can watch it on this thing called DAZN. I guess it's a streaming service. It may not even cost you any money. You just got to register, and this whole thing goes for like a month. Or all like 3.5 weeks. So if you're into it, give it a look. Risk it for the biscuit. Good to see you again, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. He says, should they separate the genders in esports? I will tell you exactly my take on esports is my take on sports, which is we have arrived at a place in science, and we have arrived at a place in being able to sort of determine the factors that are crucial when it comes to individual sports. And if people are actually interested in the quality of the competition, gender should not factor into it. What should factor into it is if it's a physical sport, bone density, hormones, a variety of other markers that are a much better barometer for, is this going to be a really good match for the audience? I think people have turned it into a political chess match because it gets people to the polls. But I actually think if you really do care about sports, they're really there's no reason to have a gender category to begin with. But anyway, I have no idea how they break it up. In Saudi Arabia, I would have to imagine yes, but I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I don't plan on watching it because I don't want to support this horse shit. Okay, let's move forward, my tiny human friends. What do we got here? Star Wars Outlaws has gone gold. The summer is just racing by. Lord Garth says, can I please pause an esports match to stop my kid from sticking a fork in the outlet? Oh, Lord have mercy. Kata, that's not the point. Kata says women would get wrecked in American football. Yeah, they would most likely. But I'm not, if you really care about sports, then you'll go with the biological markers that we can track. But if you refuse to do that, but you still want to stand on your mountaintop without a really good excuse for why you want to split sports, whether they're esports or not, into genders, then I'm sorry, but you have another agenda that you're pushing, and you're just sort of protecting yourself under the blanket of something you think is acceptable. Anyway, let us move on. Star Wars Outlaws. The summer's rushing by, and I look up and I'm like, holy shit, this is out in about 50 days. It has gone gold. I'm a little lukewarm on this than I get it. Than I was before, because some of the people who played it at Summer Game Fest have been like, it's cool in a lot of ways because it's open world Star Wars, and even though it's not perfectly seamless from space to ground to space, it's better than anyone else has done it except No Man's Sky, but that doesn't have any of the narrative or any of the stuff like that. That Star Wars does, and so I'm excited. But people who've actually played it say, yeah, but once you get past the wow factor, the moment to moment is relatively generic and been there, done that. So I don't know. I'm not. I'm going to be on the fence on this one, whereas before I was actually quite excited. Quite excited. Well, yeah, it's another good point. Lord Garth says someday we'll just let us all take pharmaceuticals to improve performance. I mean, that's the thing too. If I can respect you if when it comes to this topic about who should play what sport, if you really are into all about what's fair and choosing the most fair thing. But yeah, how many people fucking dope up? Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Just look at I'm not going to get into an argument with you guys. I don't really care what you think about this, frankly. I'm telling you the way it is. Science can put people together and say this is even, this is not. There's nothing you can say that can counter that. I'm sorry, you're just simply wrong. you might say, well, the Major League Sporting events or the esport events or the Saudi Arabia Esports Cup doesn't have the money to run those tests. And I wouldn't believe you, but I would say, okay, at least that's a valid excuse. But don't fucking come at me and act like, there's a valid reason when you have actual biology telling you who is a good match for someone else, and you're choosing to go with a very base penis vagina. Shut up. All right, listen. These are things that'll get you killed in Saudi Arabia. We already talked about that. Listen to this, though. This won't get you killed, but if you're in a PlayStation heavy state, they might beat you up a little bit. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is coming to Game Pass in August. That's the report. It's not official, but it sounds like it's true. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remaster, Spyro Reignited Trilogy are also going to be coming hopefully in the summer. And then, of course, rolling into, November or October, we're going to end up with the Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So, it's starting. We're starting to see some of these. I also saw that a number of the Transformer games, which I know were published by Activision, but the rights have reverted to Hasbro. So I don't really know what's going on with those, but I did see that those had been delisted for a good long while, and now they're back up to actually purchase, I believe, or at least coming soon to purchase on Xbox Microsoft Store. So we may be getting at least some of the Transformer games as well. I can't imagine we'll be getting the Marvel games because, they published all the Spider-Man games, Web of Destiny and all that, which some of them are pretty good. But I don't know. I don't think we'll be seeing those, but I don't know how the rights on that work. Okay. Black Ops 6 looks pretty decent, says Tatum. It does. It looks really, a lot of it is, the team is great, and the other Black Ops games I've played, at least in single player, is, absolutely excellent. But, we'll see. Why are you platforming and linking to Saudi Arabia's esports tournament? You are hesitant to have P Turtle on because part of the conversation, Douglas, is about how cool this idea is that they're proposing that starts today, which is a $60 million world esports cup, but it's coming from a government that will kill you for being homosexual and other things that probably shouldn't. So I've marbled in the controversy with the fact that it's a good idea. The idea of, the idea that, we want to have an Olympics of sports for esports, I think it's kind of cool. There's like 21 games, man. 21 games included in this. And so I'm not going to be watching it, though. But I don't know what I'm doing with this. Let's talk about this briefly. Listen to this. So the first Descendant, and I see the chat, you guys. I'm doing the best I can. Here, let me jump. Before we get to the first Descendant, let me explain what's going on. So I put out a tweet yesterday saying, do we still want to have calls on the show and this, that, and the other? And a lot of people said, yeah, but the problem with them is that they, you need to be more vicious in cutting people off because people will go on. And also, maybe you should put them at the back of the show. So what we're going to try today is I'll talk about, I'm not ignoring what the chat is saying about esports, but I don't want to derail the core. So if you're here for the news and analysis of the news and discussion of games, that's where we're at. But I'm going to start putting towards the tail end of the show, and I'll timestamp it where it's more of a free chat. And we can jump into that and have those conversations. Just know, though, that I have a stopwatch now. And if it goes over 2 minutes, I'm going to be like, all right, let's fucking cut this. We need more P Turtle. Then go to P Turtle's channel, man. I cannot. Look, P Turtle has not been given a sentence one way or the other. But this is, if you think you found a place where it's just going to be a bunch of arguing, I just can't handle it anymore. I don't mind crazy fucking phone calls from time to time, but I'm getting tired of all the politics in here. And it's part of it's my fault, so I'm going to try to dial back on it. All right. And I'm a little cranky today, as you can probably tell. I don't know why. Just a little cranky today. I apologize for that. Part of that's my fault. I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be taking it out on you guys, but I'm just, you know what it is? I'm tired of the confrontational shit, even though it's trolly. It's just, it's almost like I come into the show and there's a point where a few of you used to do it and it was fun. And now it's like, oh, this is what we do. And I'm almost like, I just don't want to look at the chat anymore. Not because I'm offended by it, not because you don't have a right to do it. I'm just kind of like, God, it's just so fun. You know, if a new person came in to watch the goddamn show, they would just be like, holy fuck, Jaffe's chat is toxic as fuck. Even though they know that a lot of you guys, they may not know, but I know a lot of you guys are just fucking around, you know. I don't know. I got to figure out how I'm going to deal with that. That's the truth. I'm always honest with you guys. That's sort of what I'm dealing with, man. I don't know how to handle that. I don't know what to do with that data. But I do know what to do about the first Descendant, or at least I know what not to do, which is play it much more. I can't play the game right now, truth be told. I can't play it because the servers have been down all day, and they're sending up a Twitter that said, hey, they're down for the foreseeable future. We'll let you know when they're back up. And what I'll tell you on this is I like what I've played. I love the way it feels to shoot and grapple and move around. The graphics are delightful. I didn't realize it was on GeForce Now. I'm even happier now. But I've been seeing some stuff about the microtransactions that it's just like, you know, it's pay to win. Even though it's PvE, it is pay to win. If you want to spend $100, you can get a character of your choice along with these 4 things that amplify your weapons and armor and all that make it easier for you to survive. Now, what do you want to bet? What do you want to bet that the developers at some point in the flow of the game are going to ramp up all the enemies to the point that you pretty much need to buy those fucking things? I would bet quite a goddamn bit of ducats on that. And so I'm still going to play it a little bit more because I just want to see if I'm right about that. I'm willing to walk it back if I'm not, but it seems like that's where they're going. The other thing is this game is out now. They're having server problems, and I'm going to try this game. Oh, this was great, by the way. This was an article from Jordan Midler in VGC News, and he basically is saying it's a good game. You move great. It feels good to play, blah, blah, blah. But he's basically just going through and saying, I can't handle any more of these fucking games where there's different colored weapons. It's just the same old tropey shit. Here's what he says. He goes, I've had enough of crafting materials. I don't care if my gun is blue or purple because, frankly, I have 3 other games whose rarity systems I'm more concerned with. Is there a constantly replenishing group of players that can latch on to games like this? He wonders. It's like when you walk down a street and see 5 new hairdressers pop up every month. Who's got that much hair to cut? He says, personally, when I finished a mission in the first Descendant and saw that I had received 12 different items, multiple currencies, mods, buffs, new guns, and decorative tea, cozies, whatever, I just knew I was never going to look at any of them. And I do think there is there is some truth there, which is like, you know, these developers and more importantly publishers are like, oh, that's what works. Whether it's Warframe or The Division or Destiny 2, let's make that. And by the time the goddamn game gets out, you know, it's like, Jesus, there's too many. There's too many of these fucking things. Listen to this. This, by the way, and this is probably, Serve says everyone deserves a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. Leave hairdressers alone. Oh, I know. I'm not opposed to hairdressers. And then he says this, though, because this is what I've been saying about things like Game Pass and whatnot. But he's talking free to play. But Game Pass to me is free to play. He says, occasionally people used to say it gets good after 5 hours about a game. And if that was the game you've already bought, there was some incentive or sunk cost in at least seeing it through. Now you can download and delete games quicker than ever, meaning if they don't sufficiently jangle their keys at you in the first 5 minutes, then they're busted. And I think that's true. You don't have the 5 hours to make a first impression. You don't even have an hour anymore. And then he goes on to wonder, how are you as a new live service game supposed to drag away players who have already have their favorite live, their second favorite live, and possibly a third? So, you know, I think what's really fascinating by this is that we really are starting to see what was defined as, I think, a sure thing as games got more expensive and games like Fortnite really took over the crown. We're starting to kind of see this is not the sure thing people thought it was, because what wasn't accounted for, I suppose, was there's just not enough people to want to play these kind of games that every publisher can have one. And I agree with this guy too. This is my new best friend. He says, well, I seem to be the only person on earth who actually likes Suicide Squad, the game. The live service parts felt like when everyone in media in the 2010s pivoted to video. No one knows why we did it, but some people were successful and it became an assumed wisdom. I happen to like Suicide Squad quite a bit, but I never paid any attention to the live service stuff. I never wanted to go back. I don't give a fuck about their roadmap. I don't give a fuck about the weapon colors and all that shit. I just wanted to go and have a single player, fun navigating adventure. That's what I had. And I haven't thought about it since. So I bring this up, because, it's the hot game right now. People are talking about. It's funny in the chat where you've got, and by the way, Zero Signal says this game's answer. Oh, it's Hooters. You're not wrong. It's not their only answer, but they are definitely delivering a really well-made game with lots of TNA. Absolutely. But what's interesting, though, is it is a little bit mixed, right? So I saw, like, Ravno says that he played it. He doesn't like it at all. But then I saw, I think it was, who was it in the chat? Was it Prince? No, somebody else in the chat. Oh, yeah. Prince Green said, from what I played, I love the first Descendants. Right. I'm with you on that. I think it's incredibly, incredibly well done. And a lot of fun. I just don't, I've tried to get back into it today, but the servers have been down. Winnipeg says, how is the gameplay? I did play the beta and love the feel of it. I've gotten as far as the beta, as far as playing it, unlocking a bunch of my characters' attacks. I've done about 3 or 4 missions. I'm level 4 or 5. And so far it's really good, but like I said, what turns me off about it is the discovery that it is basically pay to win. And I really have zero interest in hitting a paywall at level 10 where everybody gets more difficult. And the only way to really move forward, unless I just want to grind for a year, is to buy shit. So go fuck yourself. That would be my take on it. But the servers are down, and they really are kind of launching it at a pretty rough time, though. Because maybe. I don't know if these are the same audiences. Before I show you that, let's see. So this is what's difficult right now about this game. It launched, obviously, everybody's excited. It's been in a beta. People have been talking about it for a while. And then all these dips, you can't really say anything about these dips on Steam database. Like right now, the player base is at basically 0. Because you were at sometime today, like 3 a.m. or something, you were in California, you were at 224,000 players. And then within an hour or so, it dropped to 0. This is the server absolutely crashing, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Which, given that it's Nexon, you'd go, what? They should know by now how all this shit works. It's not pay to win. It will be pay to win for the in-game content. You don't know that, do you? All we know right now is that you can buy your way to success against the AI relatively quickly. That to me is pay to win. Now, if you're saying that the way the game is tuned is that you have to play it maybe like Diablo for 100 hours before you even encounter that kind of content where you would need it, then I would say, oh, well, maybe I am interested. And I don't know, but I'm surprised, Feast, that you know, because the game hasn't been out long enough for anybody to reach the end game to know where that paywall is, have they? But I'm always suspicious when you have a company, and frankly, I'll just say an Eastern company, just not because anything's bad or good, depending on that, but there's a different philosophy as it relates to their microtransaction model than in America, which seems to have settled in to mostly cosmetics and battle passes. But it's also a really interesting time because they've got to be shitting bricks right now, because First Descendant, even though it obviously aims at teenagers and up, and it's a different game. You've got Zenless Zone Zero that comes out in a little bit, like an hour. Here's the launch trailer. I want to talk about this briefly because I will be jumping on this one and trying it. Like, I tried the Star Rail one and I liked it, but it couldn't hook me long enough to give a shit. This trailer looks great, but whether the game delivers, we'll find out. But here's the trailer. Okay, so this is probably out now or in the next couple of minutes. When you say what is it, or you say stellar, we have stellar related home. Look, I don't know. I think the game is an action RPG. It's not like turn-based, but I honestly haven't seen any gameplay footage for it. Or if I have, it's been sort of mixed in with the with kind of more of the drama of it all. But you know, the art style is great. The trailers are great. Let's actually check out. I just want to see some gameplay brief. I'm not going to watch much of it. I just want to see YouTube, Zen Zone, whatever. I just want to see gameplay. Okay, gameplay. And let's see what this is. Okay, here's official gameplay. Let's go with the most recent. This is 5 days ago. Must have already watched it. No, I didn't because it was 10 minutes long. So, yeah, it looks like it's a real-time action RPG where I assume stats play a huge role, but there's probably also some skill involved, blah, blah, blah. So, and it's PvE. So, okay, so it's more of a Devil May Cry version of Genshin's team swap battles. That sounds great. And I don't know what it is. It may be just the fact that as more and more and more of these games come out that are basically free, and maybe because I have GeForce, I don't have to download anything. It's just really easy to try. The Roman says, Jaffe, why are you wasting your time watching trailers for Genshin clones? These are all waifu pachinko machines with pretty graphics. Because I'm curious. Because it comes out today. It ties into the fact that the first Descendant, which plays great, by the way, is in massive sort of maintenance, struggling at the moment. And so I'm fascinated by the drama that team has got to be enduring a shit ton of flop sweat right now, because they're like, this is probably our big competition for the week, and we can't even get our fucking servers to work. And also visually, the trailer looks cool. I don't know if the game's going to be cool. I don't know if I'll play it more than 10 minutes because maybe it'll just be a turnoff as it relates to the moment-to-moment gameplay or the economics, but that's how we learn, and that's how we find new content that we fall in love with. You have to kind of open your goddamn mind to things, man. Otherwise, you're just stuck playing the same shit. And then what happens? Then you go online and you complain about everything's the same. It's like, well, no, everything's not the same. It's just that the only shit that you're willing to entertain is the same. You got to open your mind, baby. Come on now. Come on now. All right, let's move forward, though, shall we? Let's move forward. Jaffe has subscription, says Mr. K, so he tries everything. Never mind, he doesn't stick with any of them. Yeah. Well, look, and it's not me only. Literally, the article we were reading from VGC, he literally says, you can download and delete games quicker than ever, meaning if they don't sufficiently excite you in the first 5 minutes, you move on. I'm not the outlier, my friend. You are. The outlier are the ones that are willing to stick with it. I am grumpy today. I risk it for the biscuit says I am grumpy today. I'm just, you know what? I'm just, yeah. You know what? Here's what I think. I'm not even, you know, like I said, I'm not doing a bit. I'm not lying to you guys and stuff. I'm always telling you guys the truth. But it may be that I need to do, if I'm going to be streaming more or providing more content often, which I want to and I am, maybe I need one of these a week that has no audience. So because there's a point where it's just like seeing the like, I'm just really, here's what it is. Here's the truth. I got regular kind of Weisenheimers. Come on now. You know I'm saying that to be charming and folksy. I got, that's right, BK. I got these regular Weisenheimers in the chat that are just constantly, and I'm just like, oh God, there's a day where I need a break. I don't hate you. Just give me something a little bit different from time to time. Ravno says, hear me out. Ignore the non-super chats if it's grading. I don't want to, because I want this to be a conversation. But there's a point where it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you guys like lathering up and masturbating because you get off when I yell at you? What's going on? Not you, Kevy. I've never seen Kevy type of goddamn thing. Risk It says, Jaffe, I've always respected you, even if I don't agree with you, mate. You're genuine, and I respect it. It's rare. You goddamn right, sir. You goddamn right. Let's move on, shall we? Okay. You goddamn right, movie maniac. I'm going to go watch Axel F. Fuck you all. But first, let's talk about the toys. You know, look, you want to talk grumpy. I'm about to totally, what's the word? Turn on my progressive lefties. Only because I have to say, these toys don't look very good, but that's not what's turning on them. But they don't look very good. They look like really poorly made toys. At least from these images they've released. Maybe it's the lighting. I couldn't tell you. This will cost you $30. 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 You know, Alloy, though, is going to cost you $50. And she is available to pre-order today. You know why she's $50? Because she's so fucking fat that it costs more to make that toy. Oh my God. That's not actually why. And that's terrible. You know I'm only teasing with that because it doesn't matter. You know when I'm coming from here. It's because, though, she comes with a bunch of face swaps and shit. I guess she's a more articulated. They're actually all quite articulated, but it sounds like she's got more accessories and things like that. But I love that they're making toys, but these look like such cheap little shit toys, and they may not be. They may be great. Like, they may be really rugged, and they may hold together really well. Like when I was a kid, the Fisher-Price action figures when I was a little kid, and the Tonka trucks, me and my buddies used to put Tonka trucks in the street, and watch cars run over them, which I thought was fun. And then, but you could never break those goddamn things. But I will tell you this: these are just terrible. Like in terms of, they look like those toys that you get that are like the bootleg GI Joes, and their arms fall off pretty quick and shit. You know. Let me see, bootleg. Remember these bootleg GI Joe toy? Like, you know, you get them at the 99-cent store or something. Or the rack toys, like these things. This is what these look like. These little things, and the fucking arms fall off and shit. Fuck you, dumb toys. I don't think they're good. Where are they made? Oh, I can tell you where they're made. It's from this company. They might be great, by the way. I don't follow toys. Who makes these? They are made by Alloy and Spin Master Toys. Spin Master Toys. Where do they make? Okay. Hong Kong to China. No, sorry. Moving the supply chain to Hong Kong allowed them to ramp up manufacturing. So it's Hong Kong, which, you know, Hong Kong makes good stuff and bad stuff. But these do look terrible. These toys look like shit. I will agree. But maybe they're great. Maybe they're great, but they don't look great. Did you guys see this? I was very surprised by this. This is, Dollar General toys. That's right. Listen, this is interesting, and I don't like doing the show where I just play trailers, so if you guys don't want to see this, I'll move on, but I advise you to go look this up. I played Clock Tower 1, which came out on PlayStation 2, maybe? But I didn't know there was actually a Clock Tower that was a 16-bit game. And I knew that this was coming out on PS4, PS5 in the fall, but I didn't, until this trailer came out, I knew it was side-scroller and all that shit, but I did not know what it was. But this actually looks really good. I mean, it looks old. It's an old game, but, the cutscenes look pretty scary, and the moment-to-moment scenarios look pretty good. But this was never released in America, right? This was a Japanese only title. And the first one was the 3D one that was, Clock Tower 1 is on the SNES. Clock Tower 3 is the PS2. But I guess Death Bulk, Clock Tower 3 was not called Clock Tower 3 here, right? It was called Clock Tower, correct? But yeah, I think this looks really fun. I'm super into this, man. It's rare that a trailer will get me excited for a game, but I was like, oh, I don't play this. This looks cool. And this is funny too, because I remember the Scissor Man in Clock Tower 1 being more threatening and scary, but this guy looks like a little tiny little Lord Fauntleroy with some scissors. No, this is a re-release, Kyle. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm in. I'm glad this is like not coming out on the Switch. Not that I don't want it to be on the Switch, but I'm saying that I want to play it on a big screen because I don't like. I mean, you can do that on the Switch. I know, and also I can't find my Switch. That's the truth. I don't know where it is. Coming fall 2024. So that's going on as well. There's a great limited run. I don't know if they show it here, but limited run has a pretty good collector's edition for this. Clock Tower limited run games. Let's see. I'll shut you real quick. It is coming on Switch. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So, but not a fan of the graphic art design for Clock Tower. I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for it. I dig it. So here it is, the limited run for PS5. It'll cost you $124 if you can find it. And what you get with it is a little house picture there and a, I don't know, squeegee guy and little plastic figures. And I don't know, it's not their best, but it's pretty nice. I'm looking forward to this. Jaffe, what's the term for people who pretend they were in the military and served the country, but they're lying? Liars? I don't know. Is there a term for that? Is it stolen valor? Is that what I've been hearing lately? Okay. Yeah, no, it's not just limited run. So anyway, that's coming out. I'm excited. It looks pretty cool. I need some of our Spanish speaking friends to help me on this because I don't know what the fuck this is saying. And since these are screenshots that I'm going to show you, I think I'm being accused of saying David Jaffe, creator of God of War, they threw a stick at a console that has games for adults who still think they're children. And I'm kind of going, that doesn't sound like something I'd say. It definitely sounds like something, with the vibe of something I'd say. But what exactly am I saying here? Well, I want to address Kyle's comment. If anybody can translate this, I would appreciate it. Kyle Steffi says this, meaning me knocking the PlayStation toys, is why Sony PR won't allow people on this show. Hey, I'm with you. If I was Sony PR, I wouldn't allow them on this show either. But what do you want me to do? I don't work for Sony. I work for you guys. I'm supposed to lie to you about how these toys are great. I love them so much. Fuck you. They're not great. When you put out some great toys, PlayStation, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you they're great. That fucking thing behind me, the goddamn Sweet Tooth Funko Pop in the truck is great. But fuck you. You have to say nice things about toys. It's quoting you as saying, it said your $500 console only has games for kids. Which I never fucking said. The Xbox only has games for kids? The PlayStation only has games for kids? The fuck, is that what it's saying? These subtitles can't be correct because, look, I'll knock PlayStation and Xbox and anything that I don't like. That's the job. But why would anybody assume that I had ever said that either one of those systems? Yes, Astrobot and Lego Horizon are clearly aims at the family market. And coming this Christmas, they only have games that we've heard of so far from first party that are family and kid based. But I'm not knocking the console for that. I'm simply saying that this Christmas so far, all we know that's coming are kid-based games or family-based games for PlayStation 5. Good God. I hate these people. You said it one. I didn't say that. And if I said it, it was clearly a joke, Serve. But no, I never said that. Maybe this is bad translation, and then I couldn't tell you. But it pisses me off because I don't think that. I have issues with PlayStation's games, just like I have issues with Xbox and his games. But that's not one of my issues, that they only make kids games. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Jaffe, thoughts on Sweet Baby Inc.? Oh, God, dude, I don't care. And they didn't. Are you out of your mind, No Name? I'm in a cranky mood. Are you sure you want to go down this road with me? Hey, Jaffe, thoughts on Sweet Baby Inc. ruining another studio such as Surgent Studios, causing them to do layoffs? Are you absolutely sure you want to go down this road with me? I'm going to give you a minute to think on that. That would be great to let me know. Spend a moment getting right with whatever God you pray to. Oh, fuck it. We're going down the road. Axel F's waiting for me on pause on Netflix. I don't give a fuck. Listen, do you realize, if you fellas don't know what he's talking about, and this is my thing. You got rocks in your brain pan. Do you know what game these motherfuckers made? Surgent Studios. Made by a black actor about a made up, a fictional African nation, where inspired by the black actor's black father dying, with an all black cast. Do you think Sweet Baby Inc. needed to come in and tell this black man how to make his goddamn game that's filled with black people more diverse? I'm sorry. What the fuck are you on about? Now, let's be clear about this game. It's a really good game. It doesn't do what it says it does. Like if you listen to the director, who is also an actor, he was in that what's that Ridley Scott Wolves movie on HBO or series, something, Raised by Wolves. Yeah, Jesus, why did he hire him? That's the odd part. Who knows? Who cares? But if anybody actually, here's something. If you played the game, you would know that the reason this isn't, or that they're laying people off, has absolutely nothing to do with Sweet Baby Inc., no matter what the fuck they did. If you play this game and you have a problem with all the black people in it, guess what? You picked the wrong game. It's like watching the old TV series Roots or the movie The Color Purple and going, why are so many black people in this? What's the matter with you? My God. It's like going to a Tyler Perry movie and going, where's Zack Efron? You idiots. But I will tell you that if you listen to the actor, the director, the creative director of this title talk, he will tell you that it is a sort of game about him mourning his dad in real life and all that. And that's a wonderful thing. None of that comes through in the gameplay. All comes through in the cutscenes, which is fine. But I would have loved to have seen the press push back on him, just like a lot of these people that pontificate and bloviate all day long about, oh, my art, and I wanted to express this in games, and then it's just in the cutscenes. But I will also say this game is really fucking good. The biggest failure of this game, and the reason I stopped playing it, as Samian says, Zac Efron would have made a tremendous Medea. He would have. The reason I stopped playing it is the level design got too fucking samey. It's so good, and it controls great, and it's fun, and the powers are cool. The combat is fun, but it's a Metroidvania, and after a while, it's just like you can only do the wall jump so many times. I just couldn't keep up with it. But I played it for about 6 hours. I really liked it. Risk It, thank you for the super chat. He says, I know Abu Bakr. I think he's the guy who wrote it. If anything hurt the game, it was the false BS the incels create around it. He simply asked an SBI member for advice once. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, though. I hear you, and I appreciate the super chat, and I appreciate your point. And I'm not saying you're wrong on that, but the idea that a bunch of the fucking incels that would be upset that Sweet Baby Inc. works on any game have decided to target this game. It's like, what are you targeting it for? What are they complaining about? Did Sweet Baby Inc. do the level design? If they did, then okay, I'm on team hate Sweet Baby Inc. And it wasn't even the level design was bad. It just started repeating itself. But you know, he was on Iron Lords talking about the mechanics mimicking emotions. That's a cool thing, and I love it, but it didn't play. If the director has to tell you what you're supposed to be feeling when you're watching the movie or playing the game, newsflash, it didn't work. You know, it absolutely should work without needing to be told that this is a metaphor for suffering and grief. But I don't know. So my point, No Name, is I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. ruined this studio. And they didn't destroy the studio, whatever happened. It was 12 people got laid off from a probably not big studio to begin with. Look, you're putting a game out there. I don't know how much it cost. It was through EA Partners, so it was probably $50, $49, whatever. Way too much competition for what really amounts to a very well done, solid B-level title with no intellectual property attached and nothing about this intellectual property. While it's neat, it's not going to pull people. Prince of Persia, which is a AAA version of this game, couldn't, based on an IP that's a B IP, but at least it's known, couldn't pull people to it. This certainly isn't. So I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. has a goddamn thing to do with it. Yeah, Eric, and I like that. Eric says, remember that God of War Ragnarok axe throwing mechanic is metaphor for Kratos not being able to get rid of his past. Yeah, and I didn't see that when I played it, and I don't know how intentional it was. You, in a rare case of, cogency and, what's the word? Just sort of awareness in general, offered that up, and I thought it was a very cool read on it, and I love that. I love that. Often people blame whoever they already don't like, says Jerry. I know, and I'm just tired of it. That's what I'm tired of. That's what I'm fucking tired of. Dessert says, sweet baby peed my cereal. Okay, well, some people pay premium for that. Serve says, you think normal casuals even know anything about Sweet Baby? Right. That's not what hurt this game. That's not what hurt this game at all. Hey, there's Gigi Ramirez. Hey, buddy, get on the mic. God damn it. I need somebody I need a calming force in my life today, Gina, and it ain't me. She says, I'm actually paying for subscriptions on 3 different platforms for his show. I don't really know how that happened. You talking about my shit? Get in the chat, Gina, you nerd. Jesus. All right. I want to show you guys something. Let me get no name off here. Sweet Baby Inc. says Ninja is why the dinos are extinct. Oh, you'll hop on a little later with a little apostrophe by the L. Get in the fucking chat. Jesus Christ, Gina. What are you, like, you doing something right now? Come on now. You know what you're looking at? Okay, you know how people talk about box art? And if you were to talk about the worst video game box art of all time, a lot of people will cite the Mega Man for the NES, or they'll cite Flanks, which I don't think is a bad box, or Phalanx, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's weird. But I have discovered the bizarrest box art ever. And it's for this game. This is Mr. Do. Now, let me just play you while we're talking a couple of seconds of this. This is kind of an arcade Dig Dug Pac-Man riff that came out in the 80s. Pretty good. Didn't ever set the world on fire, but it's a decent little trip down memory lane. Not too shabby. Fine. So it came out on ColecoVision, and the box was sort of normal. But then it came out on ColecoVision in France, and I'd like to show you, now that you've seen the game, the box art for the ColecoVision version of this game. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. What is happening? Look at this now. Is this supposed to be Mr. Do? This guy? And then what is this? There's the Grim Reaper. It looks like he's driving a luggage thing at the airport back here. And then these guys, he's throwing an apple at like Purple Pie Man from the goddamn, what's that goddamn Strawberry Shortcake show? And then these are just, look at this guy. It says extra on his hat. And I think that's a man. And that's Andre the Giant. I don't know what I'm looking at, and I'm very bothered, but here's what I'm bothered more by. What you don't get to do is Sean says it's Sweet Baby Ink artwork. That's right. Listen, what you don't get to do is you no longer get to say Mega Man box art SNES is the worst box art ever. I'm sorry. You're just wrong. This is what's going to separate the wheat from the chaff, fellas and fillettes. This is when you're out in the world and you know you're dealing with sort of gen pop, and you know you're dealing with people that don't actually watch great content and intellectual content and well-researched content. Because this is the tropey cliche thing. No. This, my friends, is the worst box art in the world. And I'm sorry, but I would like to know why the Grim Reaper is on a Zamboni. Hey, I'm streaming. Can I call you back? All right. Okay, bye. Why is he back there driving that, or the luggage carrier? I don't understand. But let's move on. You think this looks good, Wayne? Oh, you're going to hell, baby. You're going to hell. It's definitely French. I mean, why is this Mr. Do? Why is this Mr. Do though? In the game, Mr. Do is hang on. Where the hell did it go? In the game, Mr. Do is this guy. He's like a little dude in a circus hat. Right? He's like a little look at him down there. He's like a guy in maybe pajamas with a little sleeping hat like Ebenezer Scrooge, and he's being chased by what look like steaks. Like literal like sirloin steaks. That's what the box should but this is, and I'm not doing a bit. I'm genuinely curious. Like, what drives an artist to go, "Hey, honey, guess what? I got the job for the Mr. Do box art." Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, I'm going to go work this weekend, but we'll do the date night thing on Monday instead of Saturday's planning. Okay, no problem. What's he thinking? Where are any of these people? And where's this guy? And why is there a hole in the tree? And most importantly, why is Sweet Baby Inc. was involved with this. Mr. Do's become Asian. And there's nothing wrong with them being Asian, but that's what I'd like to call forced diversity. There's nothing in the lore that suggests this is total Asian washing, is what this is. There's nothing in the lore that says Mr. Do is an Asian fella, but he is now. He is now. Okay. You want me to look up the Snow White box art? Snow White PS2 box art. Okay. Oh, goodness. That's horrid. Okay, they win. Mega Man is still not the worst, but oh my God. Hang on. I have never seen this. How do I make it bigger? What are we looking at? That is offensively terrible. This is like that what's that thing, the kids Christmas movie, not the Bank Street Kids, but that kind of fucking thing, you know what I'm saying? Terrible. That's just terrifying. I hate it. Okay. Oh wait, where is you know what? Where's this guy who said I was a terrible father? I saw that. Yeah, I said steaks. Why don't you man up and call in, and we'll talk about how bad of a father I am. You can click on the top up there. Why don't you call in? But you won't, because you're a coward. You're a goddamn coward. Terrible father. You wish you had a father as attentive and loving and present as I am. You fucking non-contributing, intellectually stunted child. Okay, Ravnos, you're our first test. The stopwatch starts now. Go. What do you want to talk about? You got 2 minutes.
Why are you so grumpy? Like, what made you grumpy?
I'm just, you know what? I'm not, I don't know. I think probably it's just the state of the world has got me pissed off. And then, I got to figure out, and honestly, I haven't had a break. I usually take a day off. Yeah, but yeah. I did Sunday with Garvin, and then I did Saturday. I did some other thing on Saturday, and I love doing it. It was some show or something. What did I do on Saturday? It was some members thing. I don't remember. And so I haven't had a day off, so I'm cranky I'm cranky with all the...
Yesterday.
Well, it builds, baby. I had the news is obviously bothering me, and I'm just tired of little fucking trolls in the chat. It's like, if you're going to be funny, we had a troll in this show way back at the beginning called Hogwash. And he had his issues, but he was genuinely, compellingly funny. But a lot of these guys, really, somebody in the chat earlier wrote, it's almost like they just want to be noticed by you, Jaffe. And I'm like, that's so pathetic. I never got the sense Hogwash wanted to be noticed by me. He was just like, I'm a funny guy. I'm writing funny shit. I'm just annoyed that there are people out there that give a fuck enough about me and not the content. I just want him to say my name. He noticed me. I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
What do you
have you played any games today?
Oh, yeah. Well, I tried to play First Descendant, but, that's not working.
Yeah.
I played Marvel Snap because I wanted to try the new card. That's cool. And then I'm making, my way through Elden Ring, the base game right now. So I played that a little bit. I'm dealing with those invisible guys that you can only see their footsteps.
Yeah.
Those guys are giving me a hard time, but I'm loving it. So,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
what's up? One quick. You got 10 seconds. Go.
What did you like about First Descendant that I didn't?
I love the control. The gunplay was great. The art was great. The sexy ladies were great. And I liked the grapple hook. But beyond that, it's not like something I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go back and play more of it. I want to.
Warframe.
I want to give it a little bit more time because I might be going on a show Monday and talking about it. But short of that, I'm not like, and I want to try this Zen Zone Zero or whatever the fuck it's called that just launched or is launching in the next few minutes.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
See ya. See that? What do we think? 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes on and off, right? It may not work. I may just have to say there's no limit, but I'm putting them all at the back. Addy Pie just gave some money. I don't know where the fuck he lives. It's got some kind of little squiggle thing. I think it means he's a Scientologist, but I appreciate the super chat, whatever it is. Whether it's a lot or a little, I appreciate it. He says, make your face cam bigger. Fuck you. And don't be so grumpy. Fuck you. Mr. K has been a member for 33 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, Trump. Yeah, his political dream team is Trump Netanyahu 2024. And then he says, thank you for this super chat. He says, fecal fondue. Just testing. I've never heard that ever. I've never heard those words put together, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that, sir. Okay. I have an echo. Oh, the whole time there was an echo. Oh, man. Oh, my God. The whole time there was an echo. Oh, man. I hate that. I'm sorry. I know what that is. I know how to fix that. I got that fixed usually. And fudge, man. I'm sorry about that. My bad. I won't do that again. I won't do that again. Okay. Addy Pot. Hey, you know what? I don't want to get political, but go look it up. He says, dude, what the fuck is up with the Trump shit with the 12-year-old girls? So fucked up. Yep. I mean, are you surprised? And let me tell you something briefly. I was on Colin's show and I made this comment about Trump. I talked about this yesterday, I think, but and a bunch of the people on the not sacred symbols, constellation said, no, Jaffe, that's wrong. And I'm like, what? And I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, you're right. I always thought he said that, but you know what? He did say that, but here's the context. You're right. I'm wrong. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I hate Trump. I think he's a nightmare, but I'm not going to hate him under false pretenses. And that was wrong. So all I'm fucking saying is it goes all ways. They're all fucking liars and cheats. But if you haven't seen what's happening, Trump, there's a grand jury stuff that came out, I guess, but I don't fucking know. I don't know why it came out. It had something to do with the Jack whatever lawsuit, and the judge has ordered some of this stuff to be opened, and now the public has seen it. And if it's true, and there's no reason to think it wouldn't be, given it was testimony given by a woman in a rape trial, what he said he did. What this said he did was, I mean, come on, man. Go look it up yourself. If it's true, it's terrifying. Okay, let's move on, though, because we're here for the video games, my delightful delinquents. Listen to this. I want to ask you a question, seriously. Joking aside. Dragon Age, the new one, and the last one that I played was the last one, right? What was it called? Dragon Age, the one with the big green beam that came down and was corrupting the world, whatever it was called. And I liked it a lot. I thought it was quite great. And Inquisition. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, movie. Dragon Age Inquisition. And the new one came out, and they said it's not out, but the new one dropped a gameplay trailer, and the game director said, "Hey, we're actually, and we're not going to get into game difficulty. I know we beat that horse to death when it comes to Elden Ring, but I did want to bring this up because it's interesting news. They have 4 difficulty modes, and one of them is called they have Storyteller, Adventurer, and Nightmare. Nightmare is permanent; you can't change it. You can alternate between Storyteller, which is super easy. People just like the story, and Adventurer, which is kind of medium. But there's one called Unbound, and you can edit on the fly the difficulty. And it says the options give you to turn on or off aim assist or auto aim, adjusting the difficulty of parrying enemy attacks, upping your own damage output, and even tweaking the general health pools of enemies and how much they'll press you on in combat. Finally, there's an option to disable death entirely so you never see a game over screen. And the director says none of these options are a cheat. She's talking to Game Informer. It's an option to make sure players of all abilities can show up. Now, again, I think that's great if that's the director's vision. I'm fascinated by this, though, because if you turn off the ability to die, then I really am. As a designer or a one-time designer, I'm fascinated by this because if you take away the fact that you can't die and you can just sit there and bang on the enemies all day long or whatever, or turn up your damage and turn theirs down and you can't die, what does that feel like? I mean, are you going to disengage even if you're terrible at the game and be like, well, what's the point? Is it going to be like the Twilight Zone episode where the criminal gets killed and he goes to heaven and everything is so fucking easy that he tells the angel, I'd like to go to the other place because this is boring. And the angel's not really an angel. He's a demon. And he says, oh, this is the other place. Ha 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 ha. Right. I mean, and I'm not making a joke. And that's all I got. I got no information, but I am now super compelled to play this game because I want to see maybe the puzzles or maybe the exploration, or maybe the director's like, look, I hear you, Jaffe, but we made sure there's enough there that is engaging and compelling at a mechanics level that even if you do nothing when it comes to combat and the game almost plays itself, you are going to have a great fucking time. Fascinated by it. This is Dragon Age, the new one, which is here. I'll show it to you real quick. The trailer while we're talking, because they did just put out a new gameplay trailer, because the trailer, I'm not going to show you the whole trailer. It's like 20 minutes. It's not even a trailer, but the thing they put out at, the Summer Game Fest was abysmally dull, and cheeseball. And it really, the developers come out since and said, yeah, that's not reflective of our game. Cause it was all like, it was really strange. It was all like trying to be cool and hip and shit. And they said, this is much more of an accurate reflection of what we're making. So, and I think it looks cool. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to, between Baldur's Gate 3, Dragon's Dogma 2, and now this, I don't know if my appetite is not currently satiated for Tolkien-esque, RPGs, but it might be. And you can say BioWare's dead, and it might be. But Eurogamer, which is where I'm getting some of this reporting from, said, in fact, I'll just look. It looks pretty good, though. I mean, it looks pretty fucking good. Eurogamer said, where the guy who reported on it, Eurogamer went hands-on with the game last month and came away thoroughly impressed. This was the quote from the guy who wrote the article. Whisper it, he says, but Dragon Age the Veilguard has me thinking the unthinkable. It looks like BioWare is back. And to be fair, Eurogamer is one of the few sites that I think are still worth trusting when it comes to previews. Like they play it as it lays. They seem to, I don't know where they get their money from. I don't know why they don't seem to be as worried about offending the publisher, but they seem to be pretty good about going, look, this is sort of the good and the bad of what we played. So I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to it. But I am curious though about playing it at that no death setting. I'm excited, Eric, for Avowed as well. I mean, I'm there's a lot of good stuff coming this fall and this holiday. Yeah, you're right. So 7 Plays, they did just get bought by IGN, so that may change. You're absolutely right. Serve says it too, right? But up until that point, not so much. Ralph Unreal says meh. Well, okay, I don't care if you say meh, but can you articulate what's meh about it? I mean, do you just not like the genre, or do you love the genre and you don't think it looks compelling? Spider-Man had a no death setting. If it did, I have no idea how to acquire it because I've not played that game with no death. Hey, Jojo D. He says, how does beating a boss character or a video game improve your life? I don't mind playing on easy. You know what, Jojo D? Save that for about another 15 minutes because it's actually, we're going to talk about that. There's a study that just came out about why people, not do video games cause violence, but why people play violent video games. And it dovetails directly into what you're saying. I'm almost certain that, I'm going to look it up, but you mean Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man PS5 or PS5 have a no die mode? Let's see. I don't see it. I died too easy. An optional, you can maybe not take fall damage, but I don't think they say, I know, and they have a slowdown. Can you quick swap to other characters in this Dragon Age? I want to say, I think so, but I haven't really tracked it and followed it all that much, so I really don't know. I'm really not entirely sure, truth be told. Let me know if you guys know. Okay. So I'll get back to that, Jojo D. Absolutely. Meantime, I want to talk about Nintendo statement. Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa says that while AI has value, Nintendo won't be using it for game development. Here's his quote. Generative AI, which has been a hot topic in recent years, can be more creative, but we also recognize it has issues with intellectual property rights, of course. Our company has decades of know-how in creating optimal gaming experiences for our customers. While we are flexible in responding to tech developments, we hope to continue to deliver value that is unique to us and cannot be created through tech alone. So, listen about this quote. Now, as it relates to his company currently, he's not wrong. And you absolutely have to figure out, or at least I hope we figure out, the copyright and intellectual property issues on this, because that's no bueno. And again, that's Spanish for the French version of, hey, don't do that. But that said, though, I want to show you something that's related, which is I got to show you this. And I'm not saying this game is amazing, but this is pretty fucking cool. So I follow this guy. He follows me on Twitter, and it'll come back to the Nintendo thing. I promise. Jussie Kim Paynon, and this was out in December, but I didn't know he had dropped a playable. He basically is a game developer artist, but he wanted to make his own adventure game, and he wanted to try doing it all with AI. And so, even though he's a modeler, so he modeled the character after AI generated concepts. And everything else was pretty much, and he's got a speech up here that I'll link to and whatnot. But then he actually made the game with everything else was AI based, right? I don't think the coding was, but in terms of all the assets, and it's called Echoes of Somewhere, and there's a demo out right now. Okay, and I want to show it to you real quick, just briefly. It's not long, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want, while we're talking, I want to show it to you, because what excites me about this, and what I keep saying about this is, hang on, where is it? Downloads, Echoes of Somewhere is, here we go. All right, let's make sure it's up on the right screen. Okay. So, and I'm not going to play this on the show. I'm just going to show it to you. I'll turn down the volume. What excites me about this, though, and again, we are not in a place right now where all the code is doable.
I said he's not home.
Oh, let me turn the voices off too. Hang on.
Fine, William.
But we'll get there. We'll get there to a point that you can go into the AI and basically say, hey, I want to do a point-and-click adventure game, right? And the reason this excites me, right, and this is just standard template, boilerplate, point-and-click kind of thing, right? But so what excites me about this is when he goes from room to room, or like the actual art of making a game, I find to be boring and nightmarish, right? I don't want to collect all the shit I have to go out the door, but when he goes out the door, then the camera fades, and then the camera tilts down to the street, and it's not soulless. Shut up. You haven't played the game. If I didn't tell you this was AI, you wouldn't say that. I'm so tired of that argument. If you want to believe that, that's fine, but you best be able to articulate what it means for something not to be soulless visually and show me an example. But all of the moment-to-moment shit, I don't want to set all that up. I don't want to set up the triggers up. I don't want to set up any of that crap. I want to be able to express my ideas. And I bring this up because there's a lot of people that know, especially people who have kids or teenagers, or if you are young yourself, that know YouTube is kind of most kids would rather watch YouTube these days. And a lot of it has to do with ease of use, but a lot of it also has to do with genuineness, and they can get exactly what they want. And it's because in the past, if you wanted to make a movie, you had to have a set, and you had to have a crew and a cinematographer, and you had to have these cameras. And, we're 10 years out, probably less, from being able to make this without having to use or understand Unity at all. You just go out and you basically talk to it, and you're still being the creative. You're still being the creator behind the wheel, expressing your ideas. But you don't have to be the guy that's going, well, wait a minute, I want to go from this room to that room. How do I load in these assets that I have to dump these at? All that goes away. All that goes away. And what you get is closer and closer and closer to the source. So while I agree with what Nintendo is saying right now, which is certainly, I don't know where these assets come from. They're all original, but it's original in quotes. Because I don't know, this might have been taken from this, and mush was something taken from that. All that's got to get worked out. All that has to get worked out. But short of that, I don't know how people could say, like, people ask me all the time, Jaffe, do you want to make video games anymore? No, I don't want to make proper video games like they have been defined. But if I could be 10 years in the future, and it's just like, oh, I just have to kind of talk to my microphone and tell it the genre I want. And then just like I turn on a camera, and I basically have a TV studio right now, which is what we're working with. It's an impossible thing to think about if you came up, 20 years ago, and you're like, what do you mean your own? It's like in Back to the Future when Doc Brown sees Marty's camcorder and he says, oh, it's a portable television studio. Da Vinci says basic ideas leading to this could never be truly creative. I don't know why you see what's in front of you and yet you try to find ways to shit on it, but it's not realistic what you're saying. The guy, you can watch his talk. He had to go in and manipulate some of the images and stuff. But he said my baseline was super simple, and then I went in and asked for changes, and I put a few images together in Photoshop to get the background. But most of it, where we're getting to a point is we won't need to do that. Games are going to be made more and more and more by just one or two people. Right. And again, all you need to do, and this game's called Echoes of Somewhere, and you can follow his development on this, on his page and stuff, where he talks about how he made it. He gave a whole talk about this, which is right here. But what's cool about it is if you I was just looking up like the most interesting YouTube channels. And maybe it's just because of my age, but when I came up, we had 3 networks in PBS. The idea of having an entire channel or a show just about comic book tropes or just about, hey, this guy is just 5 videos a week about finance or, you know, I mean, you guys, you don't need me to tell you what YouTube is. I'm just saying that freedom and ease of expression has given rise to a level of entertainment and education that was never considered before. And I struggle to see how you guys can't get excited about that. I mean, how are you not jumping through hoops going, let this happen now? The sooner you can get anybody who's creative that doesn't have to jump through all of this hoops that you have to jump through now to express themselves. You don't complain when anybody can buy a guitar. It used to be that if you wanted to publish a book or your ideas, you had to be wealthy. You had to have access to a printing press, or before that, the fucking stamps and shit. What I don't look forward to, says Milk, is the potential of AI causing studios, creators to cut corners. I don't care about that. I care about us not having social safety nets to protect those people. But I certainly, that's how it works. Progress comes along. I'm going to bring in Sukru. Hey, we got a new 2-minute timer. You got 2 minutes. Go, man. What's up?
Okay, there's an echo.
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Let me fix it. All right, go.
Okay, I was going to ask you about how to save the in-gaming industry, but you might have already given the answer.
Okay, so, which is what?
Using AI to help the creators, because my stance on like having AI inside the game, it's going to be very expensive. But in the creative process, I think it might just work.
Oh, I see. You mean the actual AI running for NPC character-based dialogue is what you're talking about?
Yeah, or generating images or doing something like that. That would be expensive because it will take over the GPU. But if you're doing this offline, like you need assets, in the past you would go to Fiverr or Upwork and you'll find someone. You might know the figure better than I do. There was a game called Braid. Do you remember that one?
Which game?
Braid. It's an Xbox.
Oh, yeah. With Jonathan Blow's game, yes.
Yes, and then I think the story was he had to pay someone $100,000 to get the game done. So he had the creative vision. He didn't have the skills himself at the time to make that vision into a reality. Now he can do this with ChatGPT, at least most of it.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you something on the screen real quick. I went, because like I said the other day, I'm thinking about figuring out a way to figure out something to do with some of these concepts that I really, really like. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. But I went in, I put the design document in for one of these games, which I forget what it's called. And I said, can you go through this 20-page design document, and I want you to pick out like 25 ideas that you think could be really well visually represented. Right. And it did that. And then I said, okay, do image 18. And it did. This is, it's not perfect. It's not done. It's a first pass, but not only, there's the timer. Hang on. We'll finish the thought though. Not only, is that better than what I had before, and I can make it even better, but I just want to show you how fucking fast this is now. And you know this, but the audience may not. So if I were to say, okay, give me an image of a cowgirl on a rocket-powered motorbike racing across the desert, shooting her laser 6-shooters at a giant robot. Whatever, I don't fucking know. Cinematic style, hyper real, dramatic, right? Whatever. Now just watch the speed of this, man. The speed of it now. It used to be like 6 minutes.
Yes, it used to be but The only issue here that's missing is continuity. So I
Yeah.
ask for an image, and the next image will be the same style.
Right. Of course, we're not there yet. But I mean, compared to where we were, like I should be able to, and hopefully soon I'll be able to go in and say, okay, yeah, but I want everything exactly the same. But this guy looks too much like a Transformer. I want him to be more 1950s. And it's the, I gotta let you go, buddy. It's too noisy. But thank you, bud. But and we're getting there. But we're not there yet. But look how close we are now than where we were. And the fact that people are complaining about it and saying, but look at her hands. Look at her. This doesn't look exactly right. Yeah, give it a minute. Yes, you can do that on a lot of things. George William Hung, if you were, yeah, I know what that is, but you're saying AI will give William Hung's level talents the ability to shovel games out. Yeah, it will. But it will also give people the ability that are not William Hung. It will give people the ability that are Chapel Roan or Billie Eilish or whatever you think of Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey. It'll give authors the ability to express their ideas without having to go through the gatekeepers. So that's just anything. I mean, you go into Spotify, most of it's crap because almost anybody can put shit up there. But fundamentally, it's the artist and the tools. I don't know why you guys don't see this. It's like maybe you just I don't understand. It's like maybe people who are complaining are people who've tried to learn to draw and they hate that it's become so easy. It's like a gatekeeping thing. Like what's the problem with you utilizing new tools? I don't get it. AI is magic. It's not. No, I mean, Rathizzle says AI isn't magic, Jaffe. It has inputs and outputs. Yeah, I'm not saying it's literally magic like Gandalf has made it. But it's magic in the sense that back in the day, if I wanted this image, like look at the image behind me. Let me go big screen here. That image you can kind of see above Sweet Tooth, which is a piece of concept art from Twisted Metal 2 development. That image took the artist, brilliant guy Lee Wilson, probably 3 days to do. And 3 days, he was a $700 day rate. And this was back in 1993. So he got around $700 a day. That was a $2,100 image. Okay? This image took me, with the same input that I would have sent to Lee, 5 or 10 minutes if I want to go in and touch it up, right? To complain about that is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. So that's what I think. You do with it what you will. All right, we're going to move on, though. What else we got? I'll do that later. That's a good one. All right, I want to get to Jojo D's comment, though, because he was asking earlier, he said, why, okay, Prince Green says, Jaffe, try to make the same Sweet Tooth image right now. I don't understand why you're even challenging me on that. You know I can't right now, because the problem with it is right now is that as Sukru said, there is no consistency between images, and that is getting better, right? Like if I wanted to take this and go, I love this, but just change the robot design so it is more of a 1950s style bot, right? What we would want, and for me to be able to do that, Prince Green, would be for me to be able to say on that image, like, I love it, but I don't like the angle or whatever. It's not there yet. It will be very, very soon, but we're not there. So let's see what we get. Sometimes they just give you the same goddamn image with no difference. Let's see what we get. Is there a little kid with a princess hat watching this show? I see that kid. I see her. What's up, buddy? Okay, well, this is better than what I'm used to. I don't love it, and Warner Brothers is going to sue somebody. The car looks tiny. I know. I know. I know. You can actually use the image of Sweet Tooth. Yeah, you can. Right. That's exactly right. Let's do it. Let's go to Lee Wilson's homepage. He's got where's he put his stuff? It might be here. No, that's a lady. That's not the Lee. That's not the Lee we know and love. Lee Wilson, artist, Twisted Metal. How about that? He also worked on Halo. Okay. Let's go to ArtStation. Fine. So we can say, all right, let's take this one. So we'll do two things, my delightful friends. The first one is we will go, where did ChatGPT go? Hang on. Okay. Okay, so I have Krista Sparks. So let's see what this ends up looking like. Krista Sparks from TM2. Arath Isle says, it's not magic. It needs input. I know! I know! Do you think I think it reads my mind? Okay, make her more muscular. Hang on. And make her 20%, what do they call them? Android. Let's just see what comes up. Here we go. And in the meantime, while it's doing that, let's go over here to Luma. Is it Luma Dream Machine? And let's say, let's put her here. Oh, I can't put her there. I gotta save the file. But okay, let's see. What do you mean you have issues, idiot? Hang on. Copy. What issues could you possibly have, robot? Just do it. Just do what I say. Come on. Where's my picture? Why? What do you mean you can't make it work? I'm bothered now. Make her 20% Android. I don't know why it's, maybe it's having like server issues or something. Ask it to Sweet Baby Inker. Come on now. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's not working right now. So, all right. Well, I do want to try this though. Let me save the image. Anyway, we're gonna move on. I think I don't know, as a guy who's done creative work, man, I don't know why you guys. I just think this is the cool. Oh, here's Nathan Drake. Let's take Nathan Drake. Make him laugh and then spit out saliva and wink. So this is text to video, right? Oh, you can't even see it, can you? Sorry. I put Nathan Drake up there, so we'll see. It's in the queue. But I want to go to Jojo D's thing about, I don't even remember what he asked now. That's how where my mind's at these days. He was talking about, oh, I know what it was. He was asking about why is it that people take such pride in playing video games. And, you know, and I get his point. He's like, who cares if I play on easy mode or this mode or that mode? And I have talked to enough people doing this show where it does seem clear to me that there is, you know, there are people out there for whatever reason. I'm not one of them. I can't relate to them, but I can appreciate their position, which is they do take pride. They take pride in being able to win a video game or this, that, or the other, right? But what's interesting, though, to me is they did a study that says, why do people who play video games that are violent like to play violent video games? And I'm wondering, well, I'm going to go back and check on the AI, but I wonder if you have any thoughts about, still in the queue, about why it is, what kind of people play violent video games. And here's what it says. This goes to JoJD's question, right? It says, the research suggests that people who perceive themselves lower in social status or those who have unmet desires for dominance, exercise of influence, or control over others are more likely to play video games that are violent. The less these needs are met in the real world, the more likely they are to seek them out in a digital one. Video games may allow people to get what they're not getting in the real world, the study says. So people from low status groups can be more drawn to playing violent games because of a desire to obtain higher status that they can perhaps achieve in the game. I bring it up because the older I get and the more I see the world becoming divided and angry at each other and all this stuff, and more of the rich getting richer. No, the Senate thing, PK, was more about, should we ban violent video games or are violent video games bad? This is about, why do the people who choose to play them choose those violent games? And I've talked about this book before called Reality is Broken, but the idea that as society gets more and more as society gets more and more, hard for people that are not kind of in the privileged class, you get into a situation where I think these games are going to become even more in demand and more necessary. Because why would you, I don't know. It just seems like, why would you not want to lose yourself and live in a world where you actually can make a difference and you're not just some cog in some 1%er's fucking wheel. Atticus, I'm telling you the study. They did a study. It doesn't mean you're wrong about your opinion, but the way you write it, he says, no. Violence in video games are a safety net to have fun without attracting police. Nothing to do with dominance. Okay. Well, you know what, everybody? Atticus has spoken. So this study from the University of Sydney, Australia, done by actual, doctors and learned folks, Atticus has said, no, they're wrong. I get cranky about that shit. Write better. Here's how you should have written it, Atticus. I know I'm being a dick. I don't care. You should have said, actually, Jaffe, that's an interesting point, but I also feel that, at least in my case, violence in games could be a social safety or a safety net to have fun. But to write it so definitively, especially when you're pushing back against people who are smarter than you, or at least more educated in this subject and experienced in this subject than you or me, it just makes you come off like an asshole. No. Violence in games is this. It has nothing to do with dominance. Sure it does. According to that fucking study. Yes, here's the study. If you want it linked. I mean, does that make me an asshole to call Atticus out on that? I don't mean to be. I don't have the patience for it anymore. It's like, don't fucking come at me and act like you know more than these people. And you might, but then say, oh, Jaffe, I'm actually a doctorate in this, that, and the other. But, fuck. Boy, who was cranky today. Who was cranky, boys? You goddamn right. Fellas, that's it. That's why would I want to come back to this show, Jeff? You're such an asshole. I don't mean to be. I'm just in a, can I get a day off where I'm just kind of in a cranky mood? A little bit cranky, guys. I don't know what's going on. It's not about that, Ravnos. Trust me. It's I might just have sometimes you got a headache. Maybe I'm hangry. Maybe I need a Snickers. I don't fucking know. Maybe I am just hungry. Maybe I am just hungry. Thank you, Moops. I appreciate it, buddy. You want me to take calls? Fine. Anybody want to call in? Call in. Here we go. Here it is right here. I've been taking calls the whole show. But I'm happy to take more. Is that right, Eric? Is that right? Okay, invite. Here you go. You want to call in? Okay, but here's what I'll say. If you're listening to the show, and you only came here for video games, which I appreciate because that's kind of what it is. Those are all my topics. So what I don't want you to do is get upset now if somebody calls in and they want to talk about monkey shit or something. I don't fucking know. Because, we'll put that at the end of the show, right? And see if people like it better there. But that's the show. And if you're here for the games, thank you. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow doing something. But I don't know if it's going to be a live show or a members only video or a episode of War Stories. I might stream some patriotic games. I don't know. But anyway, all right. Or I might go see Longlegs. That's right. Yeah, maybe. I'm going to go finish watching Axel F. That's what I'm going to do. My dearest, delightful friends, there you go. That's the show. Be well, be safe, mods. Thank you very much. I did see the poll predictions. Hang on, let me bring in this fella, Dragonov. Dark Dragonov. What's up, champ? I can't hear you. I think you're muted. Let me make sure. I don't have you muted. It would be on your end. And hang on, try this. Nope, can't hear you. In the meantime, yeah, the polls are not good for Biden. I hope he gets out. I like the guy, and I'm going to vote for him even if he stays in. But I think he really kind of shat the bed, man. And I don't think he's going to be able to recover from it. All right, Dart, can you hear me? You can hear me, but I can't hear you. I don't have you muted. All right, he's working with it. No, I will never vote Trump. No, thank you. Yeah, I think, Jake, you're right. I think Kamala has no choice but to replace him. Because if you actually get a brand new candidate on the ticket, there's all kinds of limits that come with that. Funding and money they've raised. And yeah, Sean says the mute button is on your Discord or something, probably. Dark. Kamala might get crushed. I don't care. At least she has a fighting chance. Yeah, he's getting all the media attention, but it's terrible media attention. Who wants attention like that? I just heard something, Dark. You did something that made a little pop over here. Yeah. You banned this guy, Bukaki? Why don't you ban him? Bukaki says you got banned. What'd you do, Dark? Oh, I can't hear you. So Bukaki's got to tell us. Yeah, I don't know why, but none of us can hear you. I don't care if she has a chance or not. God, it's not always about winning. Sometimes it's about principle, right? I don't know if she can win. She hasn't run yet. But I think Biden clearly is not, he's not up for the job anymore. And, if he stays in, he's got my vote, but I hope he doesn't. On principle, they're all horrible people, Darth Nugget. My God, you're telling me you just are choosing to not believe here? Somebody was asking me about the thing that came out today about Trump. What is it? Trump sexual assaults, jury. Let me see, statement. I gotta find this. Hang on, I just heard a pop. What was that? Vimeo. What's up, man? Penis Lord.
What up? What up? How you doing, David?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm shitty, bro, but I'm gonna make it, man. I'm about to go for this 4-mile run. I just wanted to discuss something before I hit it out there.
Weren't you supposed to go for the run a while ago?
Yes, but I was lifting, bro. I just kind of got done with the weights. I was listening to the show, relaxing, taking it easy. I actually had the day off today, so it's been a slow one.
All right, so what's up? What's up?
I wanted to circle back to the Surgeon topic. Surgeon Studios having layoffs, and with Sweet Baby Inc. And I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. was necessarily the problem with that game, at all.
How could it even be? It's
yeah.
I mean, it's a ridiculous concept. The game is by the very nature of the game, it's about things that in America people would claim are woke and diverse.
And the people working on that game, right? It's within their culture. Absolutely. 100% agree. Yeah. So this is my issue with it. Sweet Baby Inc., why did they need to be involved? These people, they already know what they're doing. So they're hit with layoffs, right? So this is my issue. It's bad money management, right? How much money was allocated to them to do whatever they needed to do with the script when these people could have already done that themselves, right?
Yeah, but okay, but you're making up. I mean, you're not wrong if your scenario that you're presenting is true, but you don't have any evidence to that. It could simply be that EA has a contract because it was published by EA that says, look, we run everything by them. You don't have to take any of their advice, or we've agreed that we're going to put their stamp on these next 5 games. We don't know what the relationship is. So if you have evidence that says that studio, not EA, paid Sweet Baby Inc. more than, say, XK, and in that, if they wouldn't have had to lay off these people. Okay, that's an interesting story, but where's your evidence for that? You're just making that up.
It is speculation, yes. Yeah. But I am, from that speculation, I'm looking at it from the outside perspective. And that's rolling in my head. Why is this studio even needed? And this is my main issue with Sweet Baby Inc. I do feel like it's too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know, back in the day, with God of War, did you guys go to consulting firms for Greek mythology and lore in that?
I mean, I hired outside writers, and I did so. And once I found the ones I really liked, I brought them on that were willing to be employable. Others stayed freelance. But maybe I read Edith Hamilton, which was about my extent of it. I don't remember.
And you gave your unique viewpoint and perspective on that. And that's what really sucks. And I feel like with a lot of entertainment, people's viewpoints and perspectives are getting less crystallized and less envisioned because you're having so many people look over this one product and then spitting out slop.
Right, but that's got nothing to do with. Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with Sweet Baby. That has everything to do with the amount of money that is being spent. I'll give you a great example. When I got a green light for God of War 1, and that was a game that was originally budgeted to cost $12 million, it ended up costing $25 million, okay? But
oh man, it was $25 million for God of War 1. That's a good deal.
Right. So $12 million. The green light process was literally sitting at a meeting with Phil Harrison and showing him a rough demo that we had put together, and it didn't even look. You can see it on the internet. It didn't even look like Greek mythology. And he says, "All right, mate, see what you can do." And we were off to the races. Twisted Metal 1 was an $850,000 game. And we went around the table at Sony ImageSoft Marketing, and Peter Dilley was the head of marketing at the time. And we were all going around saying, here's the games we want to try to go out and make for PlayStation 1. And they got to me and I said, I want to do this thing with cars that have guns and missiles like Mad Max, but in a city. And he said, okay, go make that. It was greenlit on that, right? If you look at God of War 2018 and you look at Corey, did a video with Sean Layden and a few other people, Shannon and whatnot, about getting the green light. It was a bigger endeavor. There were many, many people that had to have buy-in, right? It was a process that even though he had done all this work, there was no guarantee he was even going to get a shot to go beyond that. And so that's got nothing to do with Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, yes, they are another group of people in the kitchen, but look at all the
specifically on the writing side. I would just say specifically on the writing side, this is what I worry about.
Well, you can worry about it, and it's a fair thing to worry about, that the more money that gets spent, the less of a singular vision gets expressed. That's anything. That's movies, TV, music.
And it's in all of it now as well.
But but that has nothing to do with an agenda or not an agenda. That has to do with how money gets spent conservatively. The more things get expensive, which is why if you look at YouTube, or one of the reasons I'm so pro AI when it comes to using it to express people's ideas, is the cheaper you can give someone the ability to express themselves in whatever medium you're talking, the more unique ideas that are going to be out there. But it's got and I'm not saying there aren't agendas at play. There may or may not be. It depends any given day what you're talking about. But that's a total separate issue than the issue that historically, when business spends more money, more people have to be in on the process because they're terrified of losing their shit. So they don't want to take any chances.
So I do understand, and I hear you, like with the industry bloat and everything like that, and now kind of where the AAA industry is now. The budgets were so small back then, and now everything is exploded, to where it is. But I do feel like, though, that is one area that could be cost cut and measured and kind of looked at, and I feel like the industry would be better for it, because I don't feel like in every single one of these areas, you don't need accurate representations, you know what I'm saying, of Greek mythology, Chinese mythology. If the creator kind of envisions it in his way, even if it's not authentic, as long as it's entertaining, that's kind of what I want.
I get it, but I don't. I think you're beating two different drums, and one of them is a noble drum, and the other one is a racist drum. And the racist drum, the nobility of the first drum, in my opinion, is allowing you to sneak in the racism for the second drum. The nobility drum is, there's nothing in the world that I think anybody would disagree with you on, that more often than not, the best creative products come from a smaller group of visionaries that aren't really worrying about the market as much as they're worrying about their vision. And you can go too far with that sometimes, like George Lucas, where nobody told him no. Right, you got to, you don't have, right.
That got bad in the prequels. Yes,
right. I mean, that's not always the case, and more often than not, it is. But you do have artists that are able to sort of self-discipline themselves, blah blah blah. But that's a valid thing that I think most people want. But the part where it's like you've decided suddenly to hone in on Sweet Baby and diversity consultants as part of the problem, it's like, where were you before they came on the scene complaining about executive studio notes, or the fact that I wanted to have no credits in God of War 1 in the game? I wanted them in the manual because I wanted people to get credit, but in the game I wanted to have more footage on the disc for higher textures and or behind the scenes content, and I got shut down at Sony. It was the one argument where my boss had to put his foot down and say no. Well, where was that? Or where were you complaining when a TV show that you like had a couple of moments where the notes from executives ruined something that you liked? I never hear from you people on that shit. Well, it's only when it comes to the Sweet Baby stuff, which is why your motivations are somewhat suspect. Does that make sense?
I am not, you people or whatever. That my motivations aren't suspect. You're wondering where I was, bro. I was enjoying the medium, honestly. I didn't give a shit about anything, obviously, growing up as a teenager and shit. Like when God of War came out, my friends on the bus were like, bro, this game is fucking badass. You gotta play this shit. I was like, yeah, okay, like definitely, let me check this out. And as well, too, it was a much more niche hobby. It was a much more simpler time. And social media as well, too, right? Like, so none of this was circulating. So you're wondering where I was? Bro, I was at home on my CRT playing your game. Like, that's
okay, so then explain this to me. The game.
So I'm older now, right? So the
sure. Okay. So now that you're older, the game that had the layoffs, what was the studio called? Started with
Sturgeon.
Right, and the game they made was called like Zao or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was it about the gameplay or the narrative that you feel was not as good as the old games? Like, what did you dislike about the game?
Oh, Zhao? I feel like Zhao had so many problems. Again, like outside of Sweet Baby Inc., like the main character, are you going to tell me that's a memorable main character? Are you going to walk away from that game and actually say, this is going to be a legacy IP for 50 years? You're going to play as Zhao. What a legend. That dude is in a loincloth. Like, there is nothing that stands out about him. He is just like a normal tribesman. I see people in Africa look like that, bro. Like, and again, this goes back to like this authenticity. It has to be like
wait a second. Wait a minute. That character, are you talking about Zhao, like, at the beginning when he's with his mom and she's like, oh, your father wouldn't want this? Or when he goes on the journey with the shaman guy and actually gets his powers and shit? Because, I mean, he's supposed to start as like a weak just dude who's like mourning his dad.
Yes, and he looks like a crying deer on the cover of Zhao. So
right, but in the game,
a really hard sell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but how do you deal with the fact that are you saying... How far? I didn't finish the game, but how far did you get?
I've only seen gameplay of it, and I'm not speaking. So on the
you
gameplay.
have not played Metroid. It?
No,
you have not played. All right, he's off the show. Okay, Dark, are you able to say anything? I can't hear him. Let's bring in G. Gina.
Hi.
What's going on, man? You got bangs today.
I do.
I don't have bangs today.
There's definitely an echo.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, buddy. Hang on. How about now? Better?
Yes, good.
Better?
Yeah.
All right. What's going on?
Not much.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think of our buddy Dark up there? He's not saying much. He's like a mute.
Sorry, I was fixing my tech. Yeah, why isn't Dark talking?
I don't know. We don't quite know. I didn't. Hey, I'm only.
It says you're on mute.
It says he's on mute.
It literally says he's on mute.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He doesn't have a microphone. There we go.
No, I changed that, but
we
can't hear him. Yeah, so I don't know, Dark. I don't know, buddy.
Dark.
Anyway, so what's going on? What do you want to talk about, Gigi?
Well, I went to Chat GPT and had them prepare some questions for you.
Okay.
I noticed that you like conspiracy theories a lot.
I do. If they're, I mean, I don't always believe in them. And by the way, that guy I just kicked off, I was just being a dick, but it's like, come on.
So you're totally allowed to kick me off.
I'm not going to kick you off. I'm just saying that guy, and I enjoyed talking to him, but I'm just kind of like, dude, you haven't even played the game. You haven't even played the fucking game, and you're calling in talking about, complaining. It's like, come on, man, have some integrity. Have some fucking integrity. Anyway, what are the questions that ChatGPT came up with?
Okay, so first question. There's a society of top game developers from different companies who secretly collaborate to set industry trends and influence the direction of gaming.
Is that a question? What I don't understand.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I didn't get invited, so I don't think. I mean, let's put it this way: ask ChatGPT how long that rumor has existed. Because while I certainly would not have been invited now, and while I am or have been on a forum before that was sort of very exclusive industry, top of the line folks, none of us had any kind of decision making power over anything. So is this a brand new idea, or they say this has happened since the 70s?
I think it's just more based on it being a conspiracy theory. I mean, I kind of think that it's got a lot of truth to it in some capacity. But you're right in that they don't have a lot of power.
Okay. What do you think about Joe Biden? Are you worried? Yeah. I'm worried too. I'm worried too. What do you do? I did not mute him. I look. I muted him just now. Okay. He's unmuted, but I only mute him because it makes an echo. But he's unmuted and you still can't hear him. Hang on. Let me edit mic settings automatically. No, he's there. Nobody can hear him. Gina is MAGA? She might be. I don't think so. Are you MAGA, G?
No, I'm trying to figure out how to get into the comments.
Ah, I see.
That was it though. So I can.
Why did Gina leave Kojima Productions? That's her story.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I can't tell you that. You have to ask. You have to ask. Gina that. I mean, I know, but it's not my story.
I have to say no comment.
Oh my God! One day there'll be a comment, though, right?
There will be plenty of comments.
Hey, did you see this news today about Trump and the sexual assault stuff with these teenagers?
I didn't.
I'm trying to figure out where that came from, but
all I can say is that we're not surprised.
No, I know, but I want to make sure it's real before I go off spreading it and shit, because I did see it and it looked real, but that's easy to create these days. So, all right, well, I'm actually gonna head out, fellas. I got a headache and I'm tired. I've been cranky today, Gina. What's up with that? What's the matter with me?
It's a you problem.
It is well, I know it's a me problem.
I think you've been streaming a lot, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
Workload.
Gina Zeke says, "What's the relationship between Kojima and Keeley? Is there a fire between them?"
I'm sure they love each other.
You know what, G? You're always an agent. Always an agent. All right, fellas, that's it. Gina, I want to talk to you later. I'm just real fried. Dark, we'll figure it out next time, buddy. I don't know what's going on. The guy I kicked off, no hard feelings. Go play the game, call back. That's all I'm saying. Mods, thank you. Gigi Ramirez, I'll talk to you soon, all right? All right, Dark, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, you guys. I'm done. I'm fried. I got to go sleep. See you, Dark. All right, guys. Be well, be safe. Thanks, everybody. How do I end this goddamn show? This goddamn cockadoodie